right, this video is for worksheet number 2 for the class Discovering Pre-Algebra. If you're in this class, awesome. I hope you did the worksheet and you can now grade it. If you're not, but you would like to take the class, you're watching this video and you're like, hey, I wouldn't mind taking that class. I have put the link to the class in the description. So a few things. If you're watching this and you got an old workbook, question 8 and 9 are different than what you have in your workbook. Hopefully I have put a comment in your classroom that they have changed, okay? All right. If not, then yours looks exactly like mine. So take a minute and pause this video and grade your worksheet. Make sure you got all the things that I have, all the same answers, and we'll get started here soon. All right. Okay, so hopefully you have paused and graded, and we can get started looking at this. I'm going to change the views, zoom in a little bit. I was watching the last one and felt like everything just wasn't quite big enough. So I am going to try doing it this way. All right, so remember our order of operations is do the grouping symbols first, our exponents and radicals, our multiplication and division left to right, and our adding and subtracting left to right. And this worksheet differs from the last worksheet because we added some division in, okay? So let's look at this first one. I don't have any grouping symbols, no exponents, but I do have some multiplication right here. 1 times 18, which happens to be 18. All right, so now I'm just stuck with adding and subtracting, and I can go left to right with it. So 19 plus 11 is 30. Minus 4 minus 18. Okay, so if I subtract 4 from 30, I'm going to get 26. And if I subtract 18 from 26, I'm going to get 8. All right, so that's the answer to that one. Again, no parentheses. Remember that these parentheses have to have stuff inside. So it has to have an operation inside for that to be a grouping. It has to group two things together. When it doesn't group two things together, then it's just multiplication. So right here we have 2 multiplied by 20, which is going to give us 40. And then I look to see if there's any other multiplication and division, and there is. 40 divided by 5, which is 8. And then the last thing I do is this subtraction, and I get a 1. All right, so no parentheses, no exponents. Again, I have multiplication and I have division. I'm going to do it left to right as it comes. So 6 times 8 is 48, plus 6 can go in 18 3 times. Okay, so now I'm going to add together, and I'm going to get 51. So that's the first 3. Let's go on to the next 3. All right, so again, here's our order of operations. All right, so no parentheses, no exponents, no radicals, but I do have a division and a multiplication. Remember, it's what comes first from left to right, so I can do this division first. 2 goes into 16 8 times. Now I look and I have more to do. I have some multiplication here. So it's going to be 2 times 2, which is 4. Now I'm left with just adding, so I'm just going to add it up and get a 12. All right, the same thing here, no parentheses, no exponents, but I do have multiplication and division. The division comes first, so I do it first. 2 goes into 8 4 times. All right, and 4 times 2 is 8. Now I can do this subtraction. Well, 8 from 16 is 8. All right, I have multiplication and division. The multiplication comes first, so I do it first. I get 112 divided by that 2. So now I'm going to do the division. I'm going to get 56. Now I can do what's left, which is the subtraction, and my answer is 55. All right, let's do the next three. We are about halfway done now. All right, if I look at this left to right, I see that that division is there. I have no parentheses, no exponents. I'm going to say how many times 10 goes into 20 first, which is 2. Let me drop down everything else. Now I'm left with addition. I forgot to rewrite this up, huh? Now I'm down to addition and subtraction. I do that left to right. 7 plus 2 is 9, minus 3 is 6. All right, so when I'm looking at this one, I see I have multiplication, no parentheses, no exponents. I'm going to go straight to my multiplication. All right. Okay, so left to right was my adding and subtracting, right? So 15 plus 6 is going to be 21. Minus 6 is going to be 15. 15 minus 15 is 0. Or if you saw that these have opposite signs, which, like I said, when we get to integers, we will really dive into that. You could have canceled it out. And we'll look at that when we get to integers, okay? All right, so no parentheses, no exponents. I do a multiplication here, and I have multiplication here. So let's do 14 and 6 first, and that's 84. And I'm going to drop everything else down. Now I do 18 times 2, which is 36. Now I can do my adding and subtracting left to right. So 112 minus 84 is 28. And if I add those two, I'm going to get 64. All right, so the answer is 64. Last group of 4 now. First thing I'm going to do is get rid of all this multiplication and division by doing it one at a time. So 8 times 3 is 24. All right, now I got to do 24 times 18. So 8 times 4, which is 32. 8 times 2, which is 16, plus 3 more is 19. I'm going to cross that 3 out, line myself underneath the 1, go 1 times 4, which is 4, 1 times 2, which is 2. Got to line up underneath the place value. You can draw whatever placeholder you need, a cat, smiley face, anything you want. And the answer is 432. One more before I can go on to my last step of order of operations. I got to take care of this division. So the first number is under the hat. The 2 is on the outside. 2 can go into 4 2 times. 2 can go into 3 1 time. 2 can go into 12 6 times. So 2, 16 plus 19, that is going to be 235. All right, 2 more problems. Okay, so the first thing I do is my multiplication and division. I'm going to work it left to right. I don't have any parentheses with operations. I don't have any exponents or radicals. So I'm just going to go straight to that multiplication and division. So this first one's 114. I'm going to drop everything else down. Right, now I got to do this division, this 20 divided by 4. And I'm going to get 5. Okay, now I can add and subtract left to right. So 114 plus 19 is going to give me 133 minus 5 is going to give me 128. All right, last one, get excited, okay? So I look down, no parentheses with operations in it, no exponents or radicals, but I do have multiplication. So let's go ahead and figure the answer for this. So it's 95. All right, 95 plus 4 is going to be 99. minus 2 is 97, minus 1 more is 96. All right, keep working on these until you feel like you understand them and you got them down. Look at the next video once as you're done this worksheet, and I'll see you guys in class.